What's going on, YouTube? It's the Dirty Harry back to give my thoughts and predictions on the Royal Rumble match. Basically, who do I think's gonna win? Out of all the top candidates right now, who do I think they're gonna give the Royal Rumble to? Well, let's start with contestant number one, The Miz. The Miz has been with the company for a while. It don't look like he's gonna go anywhere else. I don't see them releasing him or sending him to FCW. I see him staying on the main roster, you know. But with the way he's been booked throughout the year, I don't see any indication of him ever going back into the title picture in the near future. He has zero build, does not look like a threat to anyone right now. His character, it's been basically running in place all year. Well, really for the last 2 years, to be honest. Miz can turn heel, he can turn face, he can go tweener, and no one would know or care right now. Like you would seriously have to get on Google to figure out what he was before he flipped. Because that's his alliance or whatever his character changes that do happen. We've got no reason to care about him. And that's not his fault. It's a management thing, as most things are. You know, I just wanted to speak on Miz first to get him out of the way. He's a former WWE champion, and his reign was overshadowed by the Rock and Cena feud about 2 years ago. And I think the most we should see from Miz is he should get a little bit of build just off that. We should see him try to get revenge on The Rock now that The Rock's back. I'm not saying book him for a pay per view. You could do a full episode of Raw with that as the basis to Miz to build his character. Show him come at The Rock like, oh, you fucked my reign up and all this shit, and let him duke it out for one Raw. Give him the main event, or even the match before the main event. Let them settle that score. I'd love to see Miz go 1-on-1 on the microphone with The Rock and just see how much better Miz has gotten in the ring versus how much ring rust The Rock has to shake off. Let him shake it off with the Miz. Chances of the Miz winning the Rumble unlikely, but it'd be good to see him get a nice rub from The Rock because the Miz is one of the better newer stars at cutting promos and could be a big player in the future if they booked him properly. So that's the Miz. Chances of winning unlikely. Number two on the list, Christian. If Christian returned as a surprise entrant in the Rumble and is strongly booked, it could be great. It's someone who I'm sure most people would be okay with. If Christian came back and he got booked like, say, Lesnar got booked when he first came in, just dominating everyone and made to look like a threat, I think people would be okay with it. But I don't see it happening. Christian's been going for so long, he's lost all of his momentum. Like, he's going to come back into the arena and as older fans, we're gonna know who he is. We're gonna know that he got screwed out of his title by Orton and all that. But all the little kids in the crowd, all the casual fans who came back, they're like, "Oh, that's Christian," and then he wins, and everyone's like, "Oh, Christian won." Oh, you know. Just ask yourself: would you pay $50 to sit in your house and watch a CM Punk versus Christian match on pay per view? Would you do that? No, I wouldn't either. So it's unlikely. All right. It'd be good if it were to happen. Good to see Christian get some redemption, but they missed the boat with Christian already. I don't see Christian as a world champion. They kind of screwed that up themselves. All right. Number 3, Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler has the Money in the Bank briefcase. He doesn't need the Royal Rumble. He's already in a program that should have ended a while ago with John Cena, but nonetheless, it's keeping him, from falling stale and, doing nothing. But, he's one of the few people who actually looks like a threat to the title now. All we need to see is maybe one more good angle, one more good storyline. I think honestly, everybody keeps talking Ziggler needs it now. Let him cash it in now, but y'all act like don't just look at history, man. Look at the state of the world heavyweight title now, where they just give the strap to someone and expect that guy, you know, the title to make people say, "Hey, this is the guy." The title does not make the man. The man makes the title. You know, look at how valuable that world title was before. Back when Triple H held it, back when Batista held it, way back. Even when Edge held it a few years ago, Undertaker had it. And it meant something because those guys were properly built up. And by proper build up, I mean before Edge won that world title, or even his first title, his first major world title, you saw Edge, I think it was in '03 before he even talked and became the rated R superstar. You saw him in title matches. You saw him come this close to winning it and get screwed out of it. You saw that happen so often that your brain imagined, when is he finally going to get it? When is he finally going to get it? I know when he's world champion, it's going to be fucking amazing. I have yet to see that with Ziggler. I've seen him in a rivalry with Cena. I've seen him get a few title matches, but he's so bogged down with AJ and Cena that I don't, I can't imagine him as a world champion. To be honest, I can see him as a threat, but as an actual champion, no, I really don't. But the chances of Dolph Ziggler winning, I'd say, are possible. It actually make it real interesting if he went to Mania with both the Money in the Bank briefcase and at the same time as the winner of the Royal Rumble. If you saw Ziggler take on both champions in the same night, it'd be something new for once, But I don't think that's gonna happen. It'd be good if he went to Mania, possibly lost both matches, but at the same time had a strong showing in both of them. And then maybe we finally see him get the strap at maybe one of the big pay-per-views later that year, SummerSlam. That's my 2 cents. It's okay to not agree with it. There are a lot of fans of Ziggler who think he deserves the strap yesterday, a month ago, but I think he needs more build, just a little bit more. He's right there. He just I need to see some solid title matches with him. I know he can put on a good match. I just don't see him. If he got into the ring with CM Punk tomorrow, I'd say Punk would just own him. You know, I don't see him as a genuine threat. So that's Dolph Ziggler. Chances of winning Rumble possible. Number 4, Daniel Bryan. One of the best right now. If he won, there would be no complaints. He's been a star on Raw all year. I'm not even going to elaborate on that. Daniel Bryan, chances of winning, likely. Number 5, Wade Barrett. Now Barrett, he's got all the tools to be a champion in the future. We've seen that. We saw that with the Nexus. We saw that after the Nexus. They gave him the core, which turned out to be a big dud. And he even went on his own, had a good feud with Orton before he got injured. And now he's been repackaged as this bare knuckle brawler, with one of the goofiest finishing moves I've ever seen. But I guess, he gets the job done. His current gimmick, it kind of, his gimmick works with him possibly having the killer instinct that we haven't really seen from him yet. Because all major world champions have had that killer instinct that shows that they can get it done in those clutch situations, if you know what I'm saying. You know. Um. So yeah, that's where the gimmick does work for him. If he's a bare knuckle brawler, I can see him snapping and just going off and just beating someone down. But if he won the Rumble, it'd be good as long as they book him properly. Because we've seen them screw Barrett up in the future. I don't like the finisher, but that's besides the point. They're giving him the Intercontinental Championship, which has lost its prestige since Cody Rhodes lost it. Um, just like Ziggler, I think Barrett needs more build to be considered a threat, a genuine threat. Give him a few more title matches where he pushes the champ to the limit. Barrett, we've seen him on the mic, we've seen him in the ring. Great on the mic, decent in the ring. He's had a few matches that entertain me, primarily his matches with Jericho and Kofi. I'd love to see a more built up beef with him and Kofi. Peg on the fact that Kofi Kingston has never beaten Wade Barrett, and every time Kingston gets the title, it's always Barrett who takes it from him. I'd love to see a rivalry between him and Kingston over the IC title that goes on until maybe SummerSlam, if anything, or go into Mania with that beef if they build it properly. Chances of winning for Wade Barrett possible, but unlikely. I don't think it'll happen. Number 6, just mentioned him, Kofi Kingston, workhorse who was on his way to the main event but was held back. The most hardcore we've ever seen Kofi was during his beef with Orton. I don't think now is the right time for Kofi. It will be shocking if they do it and you know they book him properly so that we can see a killer instinct in Kofi to make us believe he can be a great champion and get it done during a clutch. But CM Punk, The Rock, Kofi Kingston at Mania, nah. People would just rule Kofi out right off the bat. Well, Kofi ain't winning. Just give us Rock versus Punk 2 if that's the case. So chances of Kofi Kingston winning the Rumble, unlikely. And no, I don't want Kofi Kingston. I don't want no one on this list to be the World Heavyweight Championship because that belt is a shell of what it used to be. It means no. All right. Number 7, Ryback. Ryback is the only person that logically at this point truly makes sense to win the Rumble. I know it's sad but true. I don't want Ryback to win the Rumble, but he's the only person with the proper build where if he had a shot at the strap tomorrow and won it, you'd be like, okay, I don't like it, but he's got the proper build. He's had multiple matches with the world champion where he's been screwed out of it. He's got people talking. He's got the buzz. He's got the fans behind him chanting that bullshit. You know, in my opinion, he should have title shots, but he shouldn't even touch that belt until Survivor Series this year. Build him. He's built to a point where I can't even defend it if he won. Ryback's the only person with the proper build other than Daniel Bryan, where if they won the Rumble, you'd be like, okay, I can see why WWE did that. And that's all I've really got. If I missed your favorite wrestler who you think's gonna win, leave your comments. Maybe leave a comment on who you think is gonna be the final 4 in the ring for the end of the Rumble, or surprise entrance, returns, Kevin Nash, stay away, and that's all I got.